everyone. Good evening. I did my undergrad in mechanical engineering, and right now I am a graduate student here at NYU Tandon in the Management of Technology program, and I am looking to get into product management. So before I got here, I spent a little time working in a few startups, and that really helped me, just direct my career in that direction so that I really knew what I wanted to get into. And since I've been here, I've really been pursuing product management uh, as a career. Yep.
Great. Shuja, if you want to go next.
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. I am Shuja. I am from Gujarat in India. And before coming here, I did my undergrad in interior design and architecture, and then basically practiced for several years before actually making the shift of coming back to studying and doing a master's now. So yes, and right now I'm pursuing a master's in construction management in NYU, and I've just recently entered my second semester. So I look forward to maybe hopefully answering all of your questions.
Great. Anirudh?
Hi guys, my name is Anirudh. I'm currently in my final semester here at NYU. I'm doing a master's in financial engineering. I came here directly out of undergrad in August 2022. So I graduated from my undergrad in May 2022 and moved right here in August. So like Shru just said, looking forward to help you guys with any questions you have.
Great. So firstly, thank you for joining us. What we have realized is sharing the experience of current students really helps the students to take more informed, or the prospective students to take more informed decisions. They are possibly looking forward to following your footsteps and end up there in New York City at Tandon itself. My first question, or what I want to understand next from you, is that all of you have spent a few months, or rather than your case, over a year. How has the experience been so far? What do you really like about being at Tandon in New York City, and how's it going over there?
Okay, I think I can take this one. So I believe that you're in New York, and it's one of the most amazing cities. So it's not just about being at Tandon, because a lot of you would have heard, okay, there's no campus, but I completely disagree with that, because you absolutely get the Tandon campus feeling when you're over there, and because there are so many buildings and we have this one amazing common area in between, like Brooklyn Commons, and plus just apart from that, there's so much to do in New York that whenever, and because of the proximity of the campus to a lot of other places, and the kind of museums and everything the city has, you just never bored here, and it's one of the best experiences on and off campus, I would say.
Great. Saurabh,
Just
what do you like the most about being at NYU?
just one thing that I would like to add is that you are in New York City, and this place has so many diverse set of people, people from different backgrounds, that you are meeting different kinds of people every time you're going out or every time you're on campus. So really make a lot of use of that you will get to understand perspectives, experiences of different people, and you'll meet a lot of different people. Because it's New York City, it's a very diverse experience that you get.
I'm sure. I've been to the city. I really love it. Amongst my favorite cities in the world. Anirudh, what's your favorite part of being in NYU?
I think one of my favorite parts is because I'm doing financial engineering. There is really no better place to do finance in the world than New York. And the fact is that NYU has a great amount of adjunct professors who work in the industry. And getting to learn from so many people who work here in the city and are able to actually tell you how life is, and not just academically, but also professionally, because we are all in this for that reason, right? We get in here to see some return on the other end of it. So I think that coupled with, just like Shruja and Saurabh have said, the offerings that the city has in terms of the events, the shows, everything. So yeah, those would be my top things at NYU.
All right. Sarah, move a bit more towards academics now. So each of you are pursuing three very different courses, diverse courses at Tandon. If you can tell us about the academic life. So what does your typical day look like? So what courses do you usually end up taking? What time the classes happen? And which are your favorite professors?
Anyone want to go first?
Yeah,
So,
okay, sure. So I am in the management of technology program, and within that, what you have to understand is you can get into any different management field related to technology. So because I would like to get into product management, what my course offers is that it offers a very diverse set of courses that you can pick and choose, and you can, really customize your curriculum. That is one thing that I really like about it. And one more thing is the structure of the courses, the way they are held over here. It's not just that you attend your class and you learn something and then you go back home and it's over. It's not like that, because there is a lot of activity. You get to interact a lot, whether it's with the professor, whether you can do some presentations in front of the class. Um, so the current one of the courses that I'm taking right now, I've been asked to, design a travel coffee mug. So it's a very interesting thing. I have to use a lot of learnings that I've done in class itself. I get to discuss it with other people. I get to come in front of the class and present what I have been doing. So that is also something that I really liked. So it gives you a lot of flexibility overall. That's about my program.
right. What about you, Shuja?
Sure. So I feel like Saurabh said, it's basically like you can design your own program, or you can pick your own field even within the field that you've chosen. So like I'm doing construction management, but in that it's not like it's just limited to management or it's just limited to construction core courses. We have the option of taking up so many courses outside of school as well and as electives. So you're basically learning what you want to, and it's nothing like you would have, it's not like, I would say one suggestion is don't come to Tandon with preconceived notions of what your course is going to be like or what kind of subjects you want to study, because sometimes what happens is you study something in the first semester and then you want to pick up something very different, or you speak to a lot of industry professors and they'd give you so many suggestions as to what is prevalent in the field right now, and you would want to take that up. And I think Tandon offers that opportunity to all of us in most of the courses that are here. So, like one of the courses that I've taken recently, and I had no idea about it, and I wasn't even going to take it until just the last week, like which is BIM applications, which is a very upcoming field here in the USA. So, even if you don't exactly want to pick up one niche at the moment, I would say just try a variety or try like a wholesome approach, and then you can, once you move forward, you can pick your forte.
Makes sense. Anirudh, what about you?
So, the financial engineering department is structured so that we usually end up taking more electives than most other programs on campus. So, I think that's one of the better parts of the financial engineering department, which is you have a standard 3 credit courses which last 14 to 15 weeks. But what we also do is we do 1.5 credit courses which last about 7 weeks. So I think that some of these courses, while they have a similar amount of content packed in, it also just lets you learn more about the various things. If you actually check out the website, there are still tracks up, if I'm not wrong, which no longer really exist, but is still up there to give you sort of a faint idea of what we do at the department. And I think that, in terms of course, it's just really what you find interesting. So there are quite a few ways you can go. And like Shruja spoke about the customizability of your degree, right? So while you have the core courses that you have to do, if you're an experienced professional, you get to waive away a lot of the core courses and delve more into the sort of electives and stuff. So I think that the fact that you really get to explore or understand the basics of what is why the core courses, and then really structure um, your degree and by extension your career, right? Because what you study kind of leads up to being what you end up doing. So I think the fact that you get such customizability and you also get the ability to sort of explore a little bit is great.
Super. So, what I want to do now is move a little behind in the past. So how did each of you prepare for your journey at Tandon? So you had got your admits. What did you do before you took off for New York?
I guess I'll go first on this one because I've been here the longest. So I think the other great thing that you get with the financial engineering course is that we have a couple of boot camps. So the first boot camp is really designed to sort of because the course is made up of people from finance backgrounds and engineering backgrounds. The first boot camp is sort of designed to bring you up to speed, as in the engineering guys up to speed on finance and the finance guys to be a little more comfortable with higher order math. And then we also have a further boot camp once we come here. But in between, as someone who came from a non-financial or an engineering background, I spent as much time as I could really trying to understand the basics of finance, read some stuff about micro and macroeconomics. Then, of course, there's all the stuff about preparing for life in New York, right? You know, you look for rentals, you look to see how housing works, you see what are the subway stops, you see how life works here. There's a lot of tiny, small differences in the way we go about life in both places. And I think that takes up most of your time. But I think at the end of the day, once you come here, it's very easy to settle in and mingle in the city.
Yeah. Okay, I think I can go next. And so for me, it was very different. I think it's a great idea. Like Anirudh mentioned, it's a great idea to go through some boot camps or, some kind of online programs and only related to your particular course. So prepare yourself well before coming here. I did something different. I basically took a break of 1 or 2 months. I'd been working for 6 years and I just took a break of 1 or 2 months, sort of tried to prepare myself before getting back to studying. So yeah, and housing does take up a very big time of your, time before coming here, very big, a major amount of your time before coming here. Apart from that, I feel like I don't spend a lot of time in trying to already know the city before you come here. You can just come here and it's very easy after that. And only once you're here, you can actually get the feel and you can get used to the subways and everything around here. Like you can't be prepared enough sitting back in India and just come here, thinking that, oh, I know everything. So don't probably take that approach.
Great. Saurabh, Brad?
Yeah. Yeah. One thing is that I wasn't completely aware of, very deep understanding of product management or something like that. So what I did was before I came here, I spent a lot of time networking with students who were actually in the program and people who are actually in product management, who are also in like a few other fields. So before I came here, I spent a lot of time connecting with them on LinkedIn. Then I even made it a point to speak with them. In that way, I got a much better understanding of a lot of things before I came into the program. So that is something that I would really recommend. It helped me a lot. Yeah.
Super, great. With that, what I want to do is I want to open this floor for the audience questions. Quick reminder to the audience, if you have any questions for our panelists, if you have any questions for Anirudh, Saurabh, Shruja, or for Mike, Sahara, and Liani, post them in the Q&A box. You can also upvote the questions which have already been asked. This way, I know which are the most important questions, and I'll try to pick up as many of those as possible. With that, I want to invite Mike, Sahara, and Liani to join the panel as well. And I want to get started with our first question from the audience today evening. We have possibly 15 minutes now, so I'm going to pick up the most important questions. So keep those questions coming in. Please do a vote. It's extremely important, really helps me pick the best questions. Liani, I think the first question is going to come to you because it's around eligibility and admissions. So firstly, is there an option to get the English test waived off? And the person I asked specifically for MS Mechanical Engineering, but I'm assuming it's the same for all the other courses as well. Is there a possibility to get an English test waiver?
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for your question. We do have opportunities for English language waiver. Typically, it's going to be specific to if you have earned a U.S. degree. That is an automatic waiver. Whether it is a 4-year undergraduate degree or a 2-year master's, if you're, applying for a PhD program, that is going to be the most common one. However, if you feel like maybe you have additional information or, have had additional training in English or something like that, you are welcome to submit an English language waiver request. And that can be reviewed by one of my colleagues, and they will take a little bit of a deeper dive look into your application and see if you might meet the requirements. However, I will say, like, not everybody gets waived in that scenario, but you're more than welcome to submit additional evidence and try to prove that case, and we will take a look at it and see if it can be waived. And that is the same for all of our programs, Sanjay, correct?
Great. Liani, quick check. A lot of our audience also come from Ghana and Nigeria. Is there a separate approach to the English test waiver for them? Is it a requirement for them in the first place?
Great question. For Ghana and Nigeria, that is going to be waived.
Okay, super.
Yes.
Emmanuel, I hope that answers your question. Ronnie, I see your point here. So it's not a question, but I'm going to answer that still for you. So your point is, we have a lot of Indian students on the panel, and why so? Mainly because this session was focused or targeted towards prospective Indian students. Even if you look at the timing of the session at 7:30 p.m. in India time, a lot of the audience, almost 50-60% of the audience in this session are Indians. We wanted to share the experience of current Indian students with them so that they can also understand from a more cultural perspective. I hope that allays your concern and answers your question as well. Great. Let me take up the next question. And this is from Stephen, who is asking, can the students work part-time to pay their fees? If yes, then how many hours in a week? And what is the minimum pay wage that they can expect?
Yeah, I can take this one. Yes, all students have the opportunity to work part-time on campus. In fact, Shruja and Anirudh work in the graduate admissions office with our team. You can work up to 20 hours a week, and it's really flexible depending on your schedule, like your class schedule. You just propose your work shifts according to each semester when you're taking your different classes. Maybe one of you two can speak a little bit more about what the pay rate is. I think is it $27 or $28 an hour?
It's 28, yes.
It is now $28.25 an hour. But to answer the second part of that question, it does not go towards your fees. You basically earn it. It's not like it's sort of taken off of your tuition or anything. You just get the money in hand or credit it to your bank account.
Right. It's like a normal job. Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ani.
So Anirudh, Shruja, a question over here. Realistically, how many hours in a week are you really able to work?
We're both working 20 hours a week, and it's not like it's very hard to do that. You're able to, like, the advantage is that a lot of my courses are in the evening, so I get to work in the day and attend the courses in the evening, attend the classes in the evening. So I think it works out very well in that case.
Great. Super.
Sort of add on to that. If you're a graduate assistant, irrespective of department, you usually work 20 hours a week. Whereas if you're a teaching assistant, it is limited to 15 hours a week per course. So it's usually one course, but should you manage to get more than one, then again, it's capped at 20. But if you're a teaching assistant for one course, then it's 15 hours a week and not 20 hours a week.
All right, great.
Just one addition here, Anirudh. I took one course last semester. I did well, and now I am the course assistant for that course. So I have to work for 20 hours a week. So it's there may be some positions that may be 15 hours a week, but there can also be like positions that you have to work for like 20 hours a week. So
all right, great.
Well, then could be a departmental difference. My bad.
yeah, maybe.
So Liani, I want to take the next question for you. This is from Dishita Goyal, who's already got an admit to Tandon, and she's looking for an extension to pay the deposit. Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. Typically your deposit deadline is going to be tied to when you received your admission. However, we totally understand that maybe you're waiting for other decisions from other schools, or you need a little bit more time. All you need to do is send us an email, engineering.gradinfo@nyu.edu, and request a deposit deadline, and we'll be more than happy to extend that a little bit for you.
All right. So Dishita, I hope this helps you. The next most upvoted question, I have it from Ronnie. Ronnie, I'm not sure about your question. Your question is, if as an international student you get accepted, you still don't have visas in time. I'm not sure about that because there's still quite a few months, almost 6 months before the course starts. So I think that's plenty of time for securing, if you get an admit, to secure your visa. But Liani, if you have been tracking this, usually how long is it taking for students, international students, to secure their student visa?
Yeah, the time can definitely vary. It's really going to depend on when you start the process. So what I would say is, as soon as you receive your admit, you need to start working to apply for your I-20 certificate, which is what's going to allow you to then get a visa appointment and work on your immigration paperwork. It really is, and it depends too, like on how many people are applying for that and like how busy they are. So the Office of Global Services is who handles the I-20s and can help guide you with any immigration and visa questions and information that you need. But again, I would suggest doing it as soon as possible once you receive your admit. Typically, it does take a little bit of time though. So I will address what I think your question is, which is, what if you don't get the visa in time to attend? And that does happen sometimes. You know, sometimes you might get stuck in what is it called, administrative processing, or maybe you get denied, or they need more information, and you just never know. So I would say you really want to be as prepared as possible when you go to schedule your visa appointment. Have all your documentation, all your paperwork, everything that you need. Make sure everything is accurate, so that you kind of minimize any issues that you have. If there is a situation where you're unable to get your visa in time, you will probably just need to withdraw your admission and reapply for the next semester. And we're more than happy to help you at the admissions office to move all your materials over to the next semester.
All right, great. Thanks, Liani. That's been helpful. Liani, I think the next question is going to come to you again. This is from Preeti. She's got an admit with a $8,000 scholarship. Congratulations, Preeti, for that. But she's still looking for some more funding. Is it possibly, or what other sources of funding can she possibly tap into, or can she request for a review, reanalysis by your team to possibly get some more funding from the school?
Sure. Well, first of all, congratulations, Preeti. Good. That's amazing that you got in. So if you were awarded a scholarship from the Graduate Admissions Office, that is the final offer. So if you got the 8,000, that's all we're able to afford. We don't take appeals. We aren't able to re-review that, unfortunately. But what is available is there are different external scholarships. In the last slide of my presentation, there was the QR code that takes you to the funding page. And we can share that again. But it allows you to kind of take a look to see what other funding opportunities are available that you can apply for. There may be scholarships specifically for international students that may be available. You might want to check the financial aid website as well. And even outside of NYU, there might be other things. I mean, Sanjay was talking about the SEED scholarship that they have as well. So I would definitely take a look at that, see if you're eligible, apply for it. But there are plenty of organizations that offer additional funding. But feel free to send us an email and we can kind of help gather some resources for you and see if we can help out that way.
Great. Sangeeta, your question about how can you apply for the scholarships, I've already posted the link in the chat. If you haven't got it, just let us know and I'll repost my message again in a short while. Okay, I am going to do that right now. Great, so I've reposted the link to the SEED Scholarships Fund. These are exclusive NYU scholarships available through that fund, and you can check them out over there. So the next question I have is from Sahil. He's asking if the role of ambassadors or ISAB leader, do they come under on-campus jobs or not?
So many of the roles within our office, that's a great question. So many of the roles within our office are volunteer based. So we actually are not able to pay students for those roles. They're leadership opportunities, kind of like if you were a part of a club or organization. This is a volunteer opportunity which provides you different skills and things like that through our office.
All right, great. Thanks, Mike. So, Liani, I think this is going to come back to you. Everyone's looking for funding, so it's an important area. But I think you already mentioned this in your presentation, but still a quick check. Does NYU award any full scholarships? Is that even possible at all?
We don't typically award full scholarships for master students. Typically, it's going to be PhD students who are fully funded by their department and additional funding outside of the admissions office. So within graduate admissions, we only offer the partial scholarships for admitted students.
All right. Liani, is there a place where they can find the list of faculty who teach various courses? So is it available on the website where they can see course-wise faculty?
Yes, absolutely. So we have 2 pages on our graduate admissions website. There's the master's one and then the doctoral one. You can click onto any program, whichever one is of interest to you. And in that page, there's going to be plenty of information, including the curriculum. There will be a section that is labeled, I believe it's people, and that is includes staff and faculty within that specific department. And you can kind of deep dive a little bit further. So if you click on that, you find a professor that you think is interesting, you click onto their profile, it'll talk about like what type of research they're doing and that sort of thing. And you can kind of get a better idea of what professors are teaching what within that program. And I believe there's also contact information in each of those pages, or you can always reach out to graduate admissions office. We're happy to connect you to a professor. We definitely encourage you to reach out to them and ask them your questions. Sometimes they're a little bit busy, that's the only thing, but there are designated academic advisors is what we call them, which could be either faculty or staff within each program that are there to help answer students for answer questions for prospective students and applicants about, you know, like what the curriculum is like, what a class is going to look like, or when they're offered. And then the other thing I was going to say is I would definitely encourage you to connect with a current student. We have the ambassador program as well within our office, and it's a chat function on a couple of our different web pages, and you are able to connect with current students over a bunch of our programs so that you can ask them questions about what it's like to be at Tandon, you know, what their experience was applying, all of those things. Very similar to how, you know, we have 3 current students here on the panel. It's a little bit more of a chat version of that.
All right. So, Ronnie, I hope that answers your question. I think I've taken a couple of your questions. I did see a message you're saying that no one's answering your questions. In fact, I've taken 3 of yours. So I hope this has been insightful as well. Liani and sorry, I just want to pick up. In fact, I want to check bringing Mike and Sarah over there. It's about the process for getting into the student council. So Ramacharan, he's already got an admit. He's looking to join the student council and wants to understand how does the whole, if there's an election or what is the selection process for joining the student council at NYU Tandon.
So the way that the student council works here is that as a first-year student, you are more than welcome to apply to be a part of the council. As the executive board of the at that time may have open positions for commissioners, which are usually the entrance level roles in the council. You can apply to those directly once you're a new student and they have openings depending on how many openings they have. And then each spring, there is an election season. We're about to start ours right now. And that would be the time for you to be able to apply to be in an elected position for the next fall, an academic year. So there are a few ways to get involved. There are always opportunities, but we also have lots of students and not that many positions. So there is usually a large application process that happens both within the council for commissioner positions and then outside of that when we do university-wide elections.
All right, great. Rama, I hope that answers your question, gives you some guidance. And I'm sure once you join the program, Mike, Sarah, and their team would be happy to run you through the process in more detail during the orientation and during the start of the program as well. Okay, the next question I want to take up is from Caleb, who's asking the process for getting a teaching or a research assistantship. How are these awarded? So Anirudh, Shruja, I know you work with the Graduate Admissions Office. Saurabh, I understand you are a course assistant in the teaching department. So how did you secure these opportunities? How did they happen and when did you apply for those?
I take this. So once you get admitted into NYU, you get access to a portal called Handshake, which is where you have all sorts of postings, both for on-campus jobs and off-campus in terms of summer internships and future job postings. So once you get in, you have access to that for life. But this is where all the postings are sort of put up, and you have to check them out on the app and accordingly apply. So more often than not, teaching assistant roles might be filled for the semester you're coming in by the time you get here. But you have graduate assistantship roles at the admissions department, at the library, and other such places, usually available on Handshake by the time the students get here.
Yeah.
All right.
Several roles keep opening up throughout the semester, so don't be stressed if you don't get a role in the beginning of the semester, or even if you're there and once you're here, you probably get a better understanding of how everything works, and then you can start applying for more roles as and when they open up.
Saurabh, in your case, it's slightly different. You are a course assistant, so did you follow a different process for getting this?
So quite often it happens that you have to actually have taken the course before, so that you are actually qualified to get a course assistant or teaching assistant position. So I had taken it in my last semester, which is why I was qualified, and I had to maintain that grade in that semester. Then the process was very similar of applying through Handshake and getting the position. So yeah, teaching assistant positions, if you are coming in, you might not be eligible for that. But there are several other roles other than just teaching assistant positions. There are a lot of different roles across the university you can apply to.
All right, great. Okay, my next question is interesting. This is from Utkrishт, who is asking, does sibling legacy play a role in admission? If yes, where do they mention? So I'm assuming that Utkrishт has a older sibling who studied at NYU Tandon. Does that give him any advantage or benefit?
That's a great question. No, we don't really look at the relationships of the students' applications that we receive. In fact, it's not even an option to put that into the application. So it's completely, blind in that regard.
All right. Liani, one question, a follow-on question. This is from Namrata. She's possibly got an admit to MOT program, that's Management of Technology, I'm assuming. Can she change her course to a Master of Science in Computer Engineering or Computer Science?
Well, congrats. Once you are admitted into a specific program, you cannot change your program. It's a little bit different from like an undergraduate degree in which you are applying to the school and then you choose your major and you can change your major. On the graduate level for a master's, you are applying specifically to that program. So if you applied to Management of Technology, it was Management of Technology admissions, committee, the faculty that made these decisions. So if you want to change, or if you want to switch it, you can, but what you have to do is you have to withdraw your admission from MOT and then submit a new application to, CS or C or whatever you're interested in, but there's no guarantee that you're going to get admitted to that program because it is a completely new admissions committee that is going to be reviewing your credentials. And I will also say if you get denied for the second program, you can't go back and say, oh, just kidding, I'm going to come for MOT, because you've already withdrawn that admission. So please think about that before. It's definitely an option. If you don't think MOT is going to be a good fit for you, you should definitely pursue something else. But it's not a guarantee that you're going to get admitted just because you've been admitted once before. And then if you get denied, you'll have to wait again until like the next available term to apply again.
Makes sense.
Can I just add one thing here?
Sure.
The MOT program gives you the option to take 2 or 3 elective subjects which are from the other departments. So you can consider taking some of your electives in like the CS if that's what you're interested in.
Great. That's a great point as well. Thank you, Liani. Thank you, Saurabh. Sorry, the one question which I wanted to take up, Liani, this is about the timelines for application processing. There are some candidates who have already applied in December, Jan. By when can they expect to hear from your department?
Yeah, good question. And I don't have a perfect answer for you because as I've mentioned before, you submit your application to the admissions department, we package it, we send it over to the department, and then it's all on the department's time. So it depends on when they're meeting, their admissions committee is meeting, when they have reviews of applications. Depending on the department too, if it's a very popular department like CS, they're going to receive thousands of applications and it's going to take them a lot longer to process them or to review them, I should say. So some programs are just going to take a little bit longer than others. Typically our standard time that we try to stay within is typically about 10 weeks or so. But sometimes it can be shorter if it's a smaller program. It can be a lot longer if it's a larger program. If you've applied sometime last year, please shoot us an email so that we can just take a look at your application to see where it is. If there's a way that maybe we can reach out to the department and kind of get a better sense of when they think they're going to be making the decision, we're happy to help you that way too.
All right, great. So I know we are significantly over time, but I want to take up 1 or 2 last questions before we wrap up. I know we still have 26 unanswered questions. There are quite a few. Some of them are repetitive as well. So I'm hoping that we have answered most of those questions through our responses to the other questions, but I want to take up some unique questions as well before we wrap up. So there's this question from Abhay. His question is, can students also work in research labs, or are they limited to only being research assistants under professors? Can they take up independent research work as well in the labs?
Okay, I think I can answer part of this question. So you can't exactly, as far as my knowledge goes, you can't exactly work independently in the research labs, but there are a lot of opportunities where you can collaborate with professors. And there are programs like VIP programs, which are essentially research students working on something and you're helping them and the professor with regards to a certain topic, or it could be a competition. So I would definitely encourage everyone to look those up within your department and be a part of them. And they'll give you a good exposure, plus a hand at research, if at all, if you want that.
Okay. Just to check this, I'm assuming when you work in the research lab, these are unpaid positions because you're contributing to the research of the, unless it's a paid position like a research assistantship. If you're collaborating with a faculty just for research, then it could also be an unpaid position. Is that correct?
Yes, these will most likely be voluntary unpaid positions. Research assistantships, I believe, are only reserved for the PhD students. So if you're a PhD student, well and good, please apply for the research assistantship. But as a master's student, all you can do is assist some professor who's already working on something.
All right, great.
Just to add on to that, sorry. I think in departments where there isn't an explicit PhD program, for example, financial engineering, you can work as a research assistant, but again, you need to really discuss that with the professor, and the professor needs to be willing to take you on, which I guess goes without saying, but yeah.
If you like this video, click the bell icon for more such content.